Do you support Donald Trump?
Yeah, absolutely, unequivocally.
Why do you support Donald Trump?
His border policies. He's kicked out more immigrants than any other president ever has.
That's not even true.
No,
So you must support Obama and Clinton, right?
I do. I support Obama too. I think Obama's a great president.
So you support Clinton the most because he has the most deportations?
Not necessarily.
Phoenix,
I mean, that's not
Galaxy,
the
thank you.
only. That's not. That's
Okay,
not what
so
makes
then
it great.
clearly
President.
it wouldn't be the only reason here. So what's the reason?
You want other reasons? You just said one reason. I can give
Well,
you more.
I said clearly that wouldn't be the reason. So what would be the other reason?
I think he's a strong leader. I think that he's a businessman at the end of the day, so he knows how to negotiate deals.
Yeah, can you name one good businessman other than Trump that has 6 bankruptcies?
Many of them.
Name one.
I mean, half of the people that own companies in the S&P 500 have filed bankruptcy.
Name one single good businessman that has 6 bankruptcies.
Well, not 6, but there's been many millionaires that have filed for bankruptcy.
You would think, you know what, actually, I've been asking this question for so long. I've never heard a response to this question. I've seriously, actually never once heard a actual response. I've never even heard of someone with 6 bankruptcies that is a billionaire.
Well, no, yeah, 6 is
I've
excessive.
never heard
I
of
agree,
that
I
before.
agree.
6 bankruptcies?
That's pretty wild, I know.
I've seriously never heard of that before. So
But
I'm
Parker,
really
that's
curious.
pretty badass, though,
I'm
no?
really, no, I'm really curious as to how the hell, right, he could be considered a good businessman when there's not a single person that any Trump supporter that's ever come up on my stream has been ever able to mention that specifically, right, is a good businessman with that level of bankruptcies. Just never.
Okay.
And
So,
by the way,
Parker, what do you know
apparently
about
you
bankruptcy?
trolled Dean yesterday, so I'm going to go on to the next person. I appreciate you
I didn't
coming
troll
up.
anybody.
Really? Have you been on my
Me
live
and,
before?
me and Dean had a good debate yesterday. What?
Okay, what did you debate about?
Um, we debated. Oh, we did the same thing. Why I supported Trump?
Yeah, but what about it? No, it was about why you support Trump.
No. It was why I support Trump. It was why men are better leaders than women. And then
Oh.
he caught me using ChatGPT. He's like,
Oh.
you can't use ChatGPT.
Oh,
And I was like, but
okay,
I
wait, so-
can
wait,
though.
so-
Why can't I?
So do you think that men are better leaders than women?
I think again. Here's what I told Dean. All right, you want to hear Parker? Here's what I told Dean.
He cooked you on that, didn't he?
No, I mean, I wasn't prepared. I kind of just joined randomly, but
Yeah, he cooked
I
you
guess.
on that. I have a question. If you still
Sure.
believe that, if Kamala Harris and Donald Trump swapped bodies, who would you vote for? Kamala Harris and Donald Trump's body, or Donald Trump and Kamala Harris's body?
So the idea, the way you frame the question is incorrect, right? I'm comparing, what the point you're trying to make is it purely gender based? Obviously, if there's a one-on-one clone, or you clone Donald Trump and you clone Kamala Harris, but you just swap the gender, of course I would vote for Kamala Harris at that point,
Kamala.
right? But that's like what I said, an exception doesn't
Wait, so,
disprove
so
a
you
rule.
so you would support Kamala Harris in Donald Trump's body?
If it was like the same mind, like if it was an
No,
event
no,
that
it's
occurred.
everything is true about Kamala Harris, but just in Donald Trump's body.
Oh no, then I wouldn't vote for Kamala Harris. What the no?
Kamala.
I don't vote for someone just because they're a man.
So would you? So then again, it's not that men specifically are better leaders than women, right? It's
No.
that you
Go
have
ahead.
certain attributes that identify what candidate is better than the other. So what specific attributes of Donald Trump indicate that he's a better leader than Kamala Harris?
So I mean, you again, like what I said, you answered like a couple questions there, but I'm gonna dissect what you just said. So the biggest point that I had against Dean was, if you look back at history, all of our military generals, every leader in history has been male, right?
So because there's been a patriarchal society historically speaking, does not
It's
mean
worked.
that they are they are better leaders historically speaking. I guarantee Dean used the same argument. Are you saying that a white supremacist prior to the year of 2008 would specifically be able to claim that because every single president was white, that white people were better leaders? No, that would be ridiculous, right? That would be an absurd position then and an absurd position now. It'd be an absurd position at any point in history, right?
Sure. So to counter yes, absolutely.
So then obviously your reasoning here is not good. Just because men historically speaking have been leaders throughout the context of history does not mean that men are better leaders. Actually, historically speaking, we can point to the idea that men have led to all the wars. Practically every single war has been caused
Sure,
by
I agree.
man.
Sure, I agree.
So,
I agree. But-
if you want to categorize all of the good things specifically to be because of men, well, then you also have to look at all the bad things as well.
I agree. Look, I agree. Now, there's been a lot of things that have happened because of men too. I'm not delusional about it. Yes, of course.
Most
men have
things
amount of
happen
wars.
because of men. An overwhelming, disproportionate degree of
I mean,
things that are
absolutely.
happen because of
Absolutely.
men.
Absolutely. And I couldn't agree more. There's, you have Benjamin and
So
he
yeah,
causing a war.
that doesn't seem like they're good leaders.
But it just, again, an exception doesn't disprove a rule. There's been, again, if you look at the vast scale of
If
history.
you look at the vast majority of leaders that were men,
All right, name some good women leaders.
name some good women leaders. Like, for example,
Yes.
Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is an incredible,
Come on,
incredible
no,
leader
no.
that's a woman.
No, Parker, come on.
Wait,
No,
is that not a good example?
That's a horrible
Why
example.
not? Why not?
The unemployment rate was highest with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden in office. It was the highest.
Wait, unemployment was the highest? No, unemployment was actually unemployment was high. Actually, unemployment was higher in 2020 under Trump.
Because of COVID. That wasn't his fault.
And inflation was high because of COVID. Actually, unemployment was really low. Actually, unemployment was really low under the Biden-Harris administration, and that's exactly why they indicated that there was likely not a recession, even though there was 2 quarters of negative GDP growth. Okay,
they redefined the definition of a recession.
I understand. Economists are having this debate right now, and economists were having that debate then, because it is the case that the general trends in the economy were not indicative of a recession, even though there was 2 quarters of negative GDP growth, and it immediately reverted off of that. So that's why economists, not just the Biden administration, were having the conversation of whether or not that is the specific definition of a recession.
So we had 2 annual quarters of GDP being at its lowest, and so that indicates a recession. Now, what I was trying to point out to you, Parker, was, economically we were better.
That's not what most economists are indicating now.
I mean, they could argue and debate or whatever, but again, based on again,
well, I think that economists are more reliable in determining whether or not there's a recession than Jokester on the TikTok live. Like,
sure.
I don't think that.
What is history
you're better
reinforced?
at identifying.
What is history reinforced?
In what way? I don't know.
In recessions, what is history reinforced?
For what? I'm confused.
For the definition of a recession, time and time again, what has that been?
Oh, what has it been historically speaking? I already said this. It was 2 quarters of negative real GDP growth.
All right.
But the reality of the matter is that if we look at the economy in terms of what economists are viewing now, that was not indicative of any broad increase in unemployment, which is expected in the case in which there's going to be a recession. So they're just indicating, economists are indicating that's not likely going to be the case. Secondly, even if there is, the recession wasn't caused by Biden. If you think the real GDP decline was because of Biden, no, that was because of the inflation increase due to the pandemic, due to supply chain issues.
Sure, but I mean, again, I think we had Trump had an unfair. Again, just to kind of argue your point there, I think it was very unfair what Trump had to go through, right? I mean, he had the whole entire pandemic on his back, and people were like, oh, the world went to shit because of Trump. But I mean, in reality, Trump. I feel like Trump did his best with the situation he had, right? And he tossed over Biden a pretty good. I mean, he bounced back pretty well, and Biden kind of put us into a recession. I fully believe it was the Biden administration.
How did Biden put us into a recession?
His policies.
What policy?
His policies. The interest rates were higher around with Biden.
I mean, everything Biden did was just interest rates went up. That's related to the Federal Reserve, and that's because of inflation going up. So what did Biden? Wait. Interest rates went up because inflation went up. Inflation didn't go up because of interest rates going up. That makes no sense. Secondly, if you want to look at policies, what specific Biden policy caused the bad economic conditions?
I mean, I can't name the policy off the top of my head. Come on, bro. I mean, I'm gonna have to look it up, and gotta be prepared. But I can't. I mean,
if you give me no policy you can mention, if you're gonna say the spending,
probably not a singular policy. But I mean, look at all the wars. He's sending billions to Ukraine.
Wars? Wait, Trump is sending money to Ukraine right now.
No, I mean, yeah, but that's again, Biden started all of that though.
Well, yeah, so Trump got rid of it and then realized that Biden was correct and then started funding Ukraine again.
No, there was a big mishap. He didn't realize Biden was correct.
Wait, what was the mishap?
We were already so invested. We had already sent them billions. So it's like, cutting it off now wouldn't have made sense.
He did cut them off.
Yes, and then he realized it wouldn't have made sense. We were already like
He realized then it wouldn't make sense. What? Why?
It wouldn't make sense.
Because he couldn't get negotiations. He said he'll get the Russia-Ukraine war done in 24 hours. That clearly didn't happen. We're 7 months later, and it still hasn't happened. And he realized they fucked up and then started funding Ukraine again. So obviously that's Trump realizing he's an idiot.
Not really that he's an idiot. I mean, he's just realizing nothing could be done. You know, there was already too much far damage done. I think that if we had Trump earlier, right? I mean, he for sure could have negotiated a deal. Biden was incoherent most of his presidency. You would agree, Parker, right? You would agree.
I think that Biden is more coherent than Trump in a lot of instances.
No, bro,
Not saying in
no.
all circumstances, but I do
No,
think
okay, fine,
I
fine.
do think in most circumstances that I would take Biden over Trump, and any day.
No, come on,
I would
Parker,
actually
come
take I would actually take in all circumstances Biden over Trump. I'm saying in most circumstances I would say he's cognitively like more aware than Trump.
Come on, no, Parker. I know you don't believe that. I know you don't.
Dude, I actually do. And do you want me to
think
play you
I think
clips?
Kamala
Do you
Harris
want me
is
to
a
pl-
sound mind.
do you want me to play clips for you to see that?
I mean, I could play clips for you to show that. I mean, Biden stuttering like 50 times, like just being
He has a
completely
stutter.
incoherent.
He has a stutter.
Not just that, he's just incoherent.
Okay, do you want to hear this? This is incredible.
Sure, I'll entertain it. Go ahead. And I appreciate you not muting me, Parker. Dean just kept muting me, man.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't even argue a point. He just mute me and talk over me.
Nobody ever asked this question,
Damn it, Parker.
and it must be because of MIT, my relationship to MIT. Very smart. He goes, I say, what would happen if the boat sank from its weight, and you're in the boat, and you have this tremendously powerful battery, and the battery's now underwater, and there's a shark that's approximately 10 yards over there. By the way, a lot of shark attacks lately. Do you notice that? A lot of shark. I watched some guys justifying it today. Well, they weren't really that angry. They bit off the young lady's leg because of the fact that they were not hungry, but they misunderstood who she was. These people are crazy. He said there's no problem with sharks. They just didn't really understand a young woman swimming now really got decimated, and other people too. A lot of shark attacks. So I said, so there's a shark 10 yards away from the boat, 10 yards, or here. Do I get electrocuted? If the boat is sinking, water goes over the battery, the boat is sinking. Do I stay on top of the boat and get electrocuted? Or do I jump over by the shark and not get electrocuted? Because I will tell you, he didn't know the answer. He said, you know, nobody's ever asked me that question. I said, I think it's a good question. I think there's a lot of electric current coming through that water. But you know what I'd do if there was a shark or you get electrocuted? I'll take electrocution every single time.
That's just one clip. Do you want to hear another one?
Okay, I mean, the clip. I can understand what you're saying, right? But he still isn't incoherent. You still understand what he's saying. When Biden talks,
he's not incoherent. Really, you can understand what he's saying.
he's just
Here, how about
rambling.
this?
The guy's old.
Here-
He's like 80 years old. He's fucking rambling.
Hold on. Listen to this. This is someone else reading off a speech of Trump. I really want you to listen to this, and I want you to explain to me what the hell he's saying.
The other night, you buy a house, they have a faucet in the house, and the faucet, the water doesn't come out. They have a restrictor. In areas where you have so much water, they don't know what to do with it. You have a shower head, and the shower does it. The shower. You think, it's not working. It's not working. The water is dripping out, and that's no good for me. I like this here, listen, I like this hair nice and wet. You have to stand in the shower for like 20 minutes before you get the soap out of your hair. And I put it, I think, and it sounds funny, but it's really not. It's horrible. And you wash your hands, you turn on the faucet, no water comes out, and you're washing, the water barely comes out. This was done by crazy people. And I wrote it off, and I got it approved in Congress, so they can't just change it because I did it in my first term, and everyone was so happy. And then one of the first things that Biden did when he came back was put the restriction on showers, toilets, and sinks. Put this and washing machines and the washing machine. They give you like a quarter of this bottle and you do your clothing. And people needed 10 of these bottles. And then the people came to me from Whirlpool. They said, we can't make a machine that's competitive. We can't make a machine and it doesn't work right. They don't let us use the water. Do you have any problems with water? No! We have so much water we don't know what to do with it. You know, it comes down from heaven, right? And I approved all of that. The washing machines, the whole thing, the dishwashers. That was the other one. They give you like this much water right up to there to do your dishes.
All right, I get
So
your point,
people,
man. I get
you
your
know
point.
What they do? They keep pressing the button. So they just keep.
Do you know what he was saying?
Okay, look, I stopped paying attention halfway in because I understand. Like he was just rambling on. But that's another instance of him just rambling on. What I meant was, you know, okay.
Do you want me to play another
Obviously-
one of him doing that?
No, you're good. I get the point. I
I have a few more. I have a few more.
I know
to
you do.
play.
You have them ready. It's okay. I mean, I can't share my screen and I can't play them, but I would play you dozens of Biden clips, and I'm sure you know they're out there.
Is there a specific time frame you expect the detainees to spend here? Days, weeks, months?
In Florida?
Yes, here at Alligator
I'm going to spend a lot. Look, this is my home state. I love it. I love your government. I love all the people around. These are all friends of mine. They know them very well. I mean, I'm not surprised that they do so well. They're great people. Ron has been a friend of mine for a long time. I feel very comfortable in the state. I'll spend a lot of time here. I want to, for 4 years, I've got to be in Washington, and I'm okay with it because I love the White House. I even fix up the little Oval Office. I make it, it's like a diamond. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. It wasn't maintained properly, I will tell you that. But even when it wasn't, it was still the Oval Office, so it meant a lot. But I'll spend as much time as I can here. My vacation is generally here because it's convenient. I live in Palm Beach. It's my home. And I have a very nice little place, nice little cottage to stay at, right? But we have a lot of fun, and I'm a big contributor to Florida. Pay a lot of tax, and a lot of people move from New York, and I don't know what New York is going to do.
Can you tell me what the question was?
No. Again, yes, but I wasn't paying attention either. I completely get your point, Parker. Yes, there's been times where he just rambles on. I agree. Sometimes I'll be listening to the news and I'm hearing him say.
So the thing is, you just didn't listen to a single thing that I played.
No, I listened, and I get what your point is. Like he jumps from topic to topic. He doesn't really finish his statements, and he just kind of spirals out. I get what the point you're trying to make. Again, if I had the ability to play something right now, I'm not home. But if I had my laptop in front of me, I would have played you. Literally, the presidential debate that we just had of Biden completely being a nut job, like completely incoherent, not able to say anything. And you watched the presidential debate.
I take that over Donald Trump.
No, Parker, come on. You could. I see the argument with Kamala. I see the argument. All right, yeah, with Kamala. But I see the argument.
I would take Joe Biden on his bed over Donald Trump.
Nah,
I'm dead serious. I'm totally dead serious.
Look, I don't think Trump's necessarily the greatest president ever, but he's far better than Biden would have ever been and ever is.
Biden is so much better than Trump. It's not even close on his bed even.
Biden
would be better on his bed.
The quality of life was worse around with Biden. I mean, there's just so many related.
What Biden policy caused that?
Not necessarily.
I have no clue. I don't know what policy did that. I have no clue. His policies caused that. He caused that, but I have no clue how he did that.
All right, Parker. But I'm just saying, I can't just quote the policy off the top of my head.
I mean, I would. There are people in my chat that would be able to.
Yeah, because they read you, Parker. They're ready to go. They're like, "Oh, Parker, yes, Parker."
Maybe you should be watching the lives then. Maybe then it would get you to critically.
No, I wouldn't waste my time watching your lives. I mean, I think you're a great guy.
That's what you're doing right now to even get up on my stream and talk to me. You're currently watching my live stream right now.
I literally requested.
You're actually part of the stream right now.
Yes, I'm a part of Parker's stream. Yes. No, but again, going back to what we were saying earlier, I just think the economy was overall just worse under Biden. I think 90% of America would agree.
I wouldn't watch Parker's stream as he's in Parker's stream debating Parker.
I'm the number one Parker fan.
Actually nuts, dude. I can't even believe you said that. That's actually hilarious.
I'm the number one Parker fan.
Yeah, you are.
Absolutely. No, again, but you would agree though. I mean, the life under Biden's administration was horrible.
Not because of Biden at all, and no, under his entire administration, it wasn't horrible.
It was very horrible. I mean, again, like I said,
based on what metric?
You could argue inflation was caused by COVID.
Based on what metric?
Our economy as a whole. I mean, inflation, sending billions to Ukraine, cost of goods rising, unemployment, everything.
Inflation, billions. So we're still sending money to Ukraine. Inflation is basically the same as what it was under Biden.
No, it's for sure been lowered. Okay, bro. I mean,
by 0.3%.
I'm a real estate broker. I do real estate for a living. I understand the markets very well. No.
Wait, but 0.3%, and inflation is the rate of increase in prices.
Right, and look, inflation.
So inflation right now is 2.7%.
Compared to the Biden administration, when inflation was pretty, going on a ramp, inflation has for sure calmed down.
3%. It was 3% at the end of Biden's administration.
Sure. Interest rates have come down. Again, overall, the
It would have
economy-
gone down to a greater degree because of if Trump never put in the tariffs in the first place.
No, okay, and I was gonna. I'm glad you brought up the tariffs. I think the tariffs are great, man. I think the tariffs are amazing. We should have
What
done
is
them
a
sooner.
tariff?
So a tariff is the cost of importing goods, raising them on certain countries.
Who pays that tariff?
And I understand, we yes, I have seen all the videos. We pay the tariffs. I understand. The whole goal is to that eventually manufacturing gets brought over to the
Yeah,
states.
I
And
understand. So tariffs are a tax on imported goods. That tax is
Sure.
paid by the American importing business, and it's passed down to the consumer because it's an aspect of cost of production and distribution.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, so specifically that leads to an increase in prices, upward pressure on prices, along with the fact that if we reference what's it called? If we reference the effect on GDP, real GDP has declined in how much it's increasing to around 1.3%, along with the fact that we've seen in terms of unemployment's increased since Trump got into office, and the jobs report was so bad that Donald Trump said it was politically biased information.
Sure. Again, you threw up a lot of information there. Sure. I think overall as a whole, though, I mean, tariffs are great. I think again, short term, no. I understand where things are are getting expensive, but I think in the long term, right, bringing manufacturing here to the states, I think that's priceless. No other president has had the balls to do that.
So again, it doesn't really bring back much to the United States. One, because it is the case that the tariffs aren't 100% certain in the long run, because it is the case that any president in the future can just overwrite these tariffs because it was from an executive action. Secondly, as it relates to this, the tariffs being implemented are also then going to cause the cost of production for American domestic manufacturers to go up as well, because aspects of their production process, materials, other sorts of goods come from other countries as an aspect of their production process. So even if it's assembled here in the United States, other of aspects of that production process are going to go up in cost.
Sure, and again, and I understand, but overall, as a whole, wouldn't you agree that bringing manufacturing to the states is a good thing?
The manufacturing investment has gone down since Trump got in office, and it was stagnant and went down under his first administration, and it heavily went up under Biden. So if you care about manufacturing, it came back more under Biden.
Bringing manufacturing to the states, do you think that's a good thing? Yes or no? That was my question.
I don't see any need to do universal tariffs to bring back manufacturing to the country. I can see in some contexts, in some markets, that there's some effectiveness. And so, for example, in the context of renewable energy production, I think that could be important. Or like for chips production, right? To bring us to be like one of the top leading chip producers in the world through the Chips and Science Act. Those things I think are like good ideas because they're in targeted industries. But if we're referencing the overall universalized policy that Donald Trump's advocating for, that is not going to be targeted, right, and specific towards like certain industries.
Sure, and I'm glad you clarified. So again, I wanted like a clear yes or no answer, not even about the tariffs. I'm just saying, wouldn't you agree that bringing manufacturing to the states is a plus?
No, not necessarily, but in some conditions it is.
Okay, so I mean, there's no change in your mind because you don't think bringing manufacturing is necessarily a good thing to bring it over to the states. So I can't change your mind. You don't see the value in that, right? The way I see the value is
you can change my mind. You just have to give me good reason.
I mean, you've already again.
But you won't be able to provide me good reason.
I don't. Even if I had brought you a good reason, it wouldn't have mattered. You've already kind of made up your mind. And which I respect, but I think that again, 85% of Americans, if you were to ask them, is bringing manufacturing back to the states a good idea? I think 85% would say yes.
Okay. Well, did you know that under Biden it actually increased, and under Trump it decreased?
No, I did hear about that. Yes, I know that it increased under Biden's administration, but I think the
and
reason why
decreased under
is
Trump.
the tariffs. Correct, because of the tariffs. But I think that the tariffs, it was a bit of a gamble. I'm not gonna lie. Again, it takes balls to do stuff like that. But he's a great leader and he's a great businessman.
So
and
he
he's a great
lost.
Negotiator. He didn't lose. How did he lose?
No, you're saying so again. You said that what's it called?
It's gonna get worse before it gets
the
better.
Tariffs are meant to bring back domestic manufacturing, but if domestic manufacturing went down, well then he lost. Because you said it was a gamble to bring back domestic manufacturing, and it didn't bring back domestic manufacturing.
Yes, but he also did mention it was going to get worse before it gets better.
In terms of domestic manufacturing, that doesn't make any sense.
Yes. I mean, in terms of overall, like what we're experiencing in our economy, right? The cost of goods.
It,
You know,
it
being
doesn't make
increased.
any sense that domestic manufacturing went down, right? Given that connotation, right? If it is the case that the tariffs are going to be so good for bringing back manufacturing, that makes no sense.
Well, no, because the other countries they just raised the tariffs even higher. I mean, we just kind of went on a tariff war, so that's why.
Oh, so the tariffs just weren't effective at all. Okay.